Please sit everyone, because I will be sitting because I'm lazy as well. Yeah. This is like my version of the Tech Talk today, doing from 0 to 1, my tips and tricks. And like most of you will say, who is this guy is actually like to doing tips and tricks, like. Yeah, and as you could see, I'm like pretty software engineer, because I have 13 plus years of like experience in the software engineering. Like I also was organization manager for the 3 years, like, and currently I'm getting the shit done in the most valuable private tech company in Europe. I was also once head of IS practice in the East Ukraine. Played Scrum Master, Solution Architect, Software Engineering Manager, and Polyglot Engineer roles. I also created like some educational programs for iOS, like junior, middle, and senior levels. My name is Illia. Yeah, and thank you everyone for coming here. So this one is a disclaimer that this presentation reflects only my personal experience and opinions. It's not affiliated or endorsed by or representative by any current or former employee or the company, and all the examples are shared for educational purpose only. And I would say I will share the tips and tricks today, obviously. They are pretty generic, but what I want to hear from you is mostly questions. Like, you know, there will be a Q&A part. And if you have some challenges, some problems you would like to solve, I would like to hear them and maybe give some advices how you can tackle them. Yeah, and disclaimer number 2, the principles and examples shared in these presentations like are generic, like, and they are applicable and can be adapted to the personal life, career development, and the teamwork. I mostly will be talking about the development and the teamwork. But yeah, please interpret and apply them to like whatever context you want as well. And let's start with the first one, the productivity paradox. A lot of people, like in a lot of jobs, like seems to be very busy, like, you know, but busy doesn't mean productive. Like when you do something, it doesn't mean you increment something. When you do something, it doesn't mean it brings value. When you do something, it doesn't mean like you're doing things right, I would say. So this like happens oftenly, and teams can ship a lot of the features, and the impact is still very small, and the product is like struggling, and your profit is not performing, and obviously you go bankrupt. So you shouldn't be busy. Like when you work in, you shouldn't be like trying to be busy and like showing like how busy you are, because it doesn't mean that you are productive. So like some laziness at the work is fine, and like you should think first, like doing second. So yeah, this is like most likely this is the very general advice from my side today. This can be a capital slide as well. So strategy first, speed compared to direction. If you're moving fast, but you're moving fast in the wrong direction, you're creating waste. Because when you need to return to the good direction, you need to like go back, try to understand like what is the right direction to you, and go there. But you already like wasted a lot of time going to the wrong direction. Your space between like your current position and like right position is far away. So it doesn't mean that you need to like moving fast somewhere. You should understand what are you doing first, and then kind of move there step by step. For example, rebuilding an app module quickly, like somebody asks you to do, like for example, you're doing redesign, but you do this redesign without validating the user need. Like we have a lot of cases, such cases like in the industry. For example, I don't know, Twitter redesign, I don't know, like some other like social networks redesign, which were done in the counter side like of the user expectations, like, you know, because a lot of users are acquainted with some user interface. They are using it daily, for example. They are using it for the 8 years. They like already living with this interface. They have like emotional connection with it. but you scrap it and you like do redesign it, and for example, you don't even have the button back to old design. Like, you know, a lot of users will be frustrated by this, and by this most likely you will like get less of the revenue, and some of your users will go to competitors, something like that. Or like for the person who will know that, for example, okay, there is like the users who like it the old design, I will do the up and old design, it will be almost the same, with the same functionality, and so he can acquire those users. Yeah, but you can avoid this by doing discovery, by doing some user interviews, and trying to understand like the problem you are solving first. This is actually also a very nice question to ask you before you start doing something. So a lot of people actually very like thinking about the what I should build, like for example, what startup idea I should build to get a lot of money, a lot of users, a lot of revenue, a lot of stuff, and etc. But you should not focus on this. You should focus on what should I not to build, and when you remove, so for example, like you will have like currently in the age of LLMs, AI and stuff, a lot of people will ask you to build some LLM stuff, and you should understand what is your end goal is, because user won't use like in most cases user won't like need LLM. For example, user need to solve the problem. Like, you know, the user typically has a pain. Something needs to be automated. Something needs to be done. And like you just do an LLM, you just throw an LLM to the user and you say, yeah, okay, let's do it AI. Like, you know, branding. But actually, like you shouldn't do that. You should understand the user pain first. So for example, if the pain is doing like a cross-border payments, you do cross-border payments, you not do AI agent like to search on the cross-border payments and stuff. There is always a pain, there is always a user need, and you should solve the user need. Right? LLMs obviously solving some user needs, but it's very broad. Like, you know, their market is huge, it's very broad, they solve a lot of stuff. It's actual now, it can be used in various appliances. But it's like too generic technology by used like in every day, like, you know, without application to something, without like enablement of AI doing something, it's not feasible. For example, like if you will try ChatGPT, like ChatGPT generate me like passive income, much money, like please now. You just type enter, nothing happens, because ChatGPT cannot do that. And that's it. Like it doesn't solve your problem because you need money now. Like, you know, you are communicating this clearly to ChatGPT. I need money now. Just generate a revenue, please. Yes, but nothing has happened. And like by this, user pain is not being solved. This one is also nice, also applicable to every kind of part of your life, of your job, working in the team. Subtraction exercise. What could you remove from your current sprint work life? You should ask yourself this like almost every day. So if something is not benefits me, if something is not benefits team, if something is not benefits user, there is no need like to have it. For example, there are products with a lot of dead features which is like mostly not used. There is like one, like I don't know, quarter user flow, which used every day by like 95% of the users, and there are like some other flows which are touched like in 2-3% like of the cases. And you have development team obviously which is like focusing on like trying to refine those features and trying to implement them, trying to support them. If you have a big infrastructure, you have, for example, UI tests, end-to-end tests, like integration tests, unit tests, everything is packed. Like you have these flows, everything is working fine, but nobody using it. And a lot of people are like forced to support it because this is the part of the process. So you either kind of scrap it and remove it from your product, and you forget about that, and you don't touch your engineers, you don't touch your team, you don't touch anyone. Just say, yeah, okay, it's no longer a feature, no longer a case. We don't support that. We don't need to even think about that. So the first one, what I could say here is that please do audit of your goals and try to understand how is your like work, like in your current sprint, for example, like reaching this goal. If it's not reaching some goal, some like KPI, some like objective, if there is no background for it, don't do it. And like, yeah, there are examples on the screen. For example, refactoring a feature being removed in next quarter. Yes, I said, nobody like will understand that. You just wasted your effort for something which will be removed. You like joining the meeting, it's also very frequent in everyday life, like especially like in some outsourced companies. You join a meeting, there is only like, yeah, I be friendly, bullshit bingo happening, like, you know. You don't have any actions, nothing is happening. You, for example, you can even not say a word there, like you don't need to be there. Just decline it and remove it from your schedule. You can focus on more important things, like than the meeting. You are not saying anything. Obviously, if something will be happening, people will start pinging you in the private messages. Like, you know, you don't need to be in a meeting to start to be like pinging in emails, private messages, and kind of stuff. If something will be important, like so you needs to be there, people will obviously reach to you. Like, but if you auto added by someone, and you just like, what is a meeting? What is the purpose of this? You should have clear understanding, like in which kind of meetings you participate in. This highly reduces the friction during the workday. Yeah, as well, updating UI on the screen ignored by the users. If the user is not using the screen, you don't need to redesign it. You don't need to refactor. You don't need to even think about that. You don't need to think about like corner cases if there is only like 2% of the user base facing them, because you're losing your focus. Yeah, and you try to understand, like, try to apply some lenses to this, like, things you do in your everyday job. So, is the thing I'm doing currently, is it about value? Does it matter to the users? Is it about risk? Does it reduce uncertainty? Or it about the learning? Does it teach us something critical? So, yeah, as I said, if it's not matter to users, like you should obviously not doing it. But there are, for example, regulations. UK is super regulated. There are a lot of regulations in UK, and to do some like to work in certain areas, you need to comply with certain procedures. For example, as I am currently working in banking, if you work in a bank, you should comply with a lot of VCI regulations. Like there are a lot of regulators. They are different for the different kind of reasons. And yeah, there is at least, I think, 3 regulators in UK which is applying to the banking. I know, for example, there are regulators which is applying if you're working in the real estate, and etc., in the medical domain as well. So like, if you're doing something and it's like it's but you're doing from the, it's not bringing, for example, user any value. Obviously, in most cases it doesn't. But if it's make you to comply with the law, you either need to understand, you either comply with the law, either you like just remove this functionality completely to not even be in the field of this law, like, you know, just not to touch it. As I said, like, if you can remove it and you don't need it, remove it. Why bother like to have this, for example, real estate compliance if you don't do like if you real estate brings you like 2% of your portfolio? Yeah, you shouldn't do it. And another one is a learning which is a very important during the everyday life. Like we are doing spikes, we are doing some user interviews, we're doing some like question answers, we're doing some risky features. We don't know how they will perform on the market because, for example, no one does it before. Like, I don't know. For example, quantum computing. Like currently, like Google and Microsoft, all the funk people are really invested to the quantum computing. They don't do it for the profits. There is like currently there is no market for the quantum computing, but they do it for the like learning, for the research. They're trying to understand what is the market, what is the user, what is the use cases, and it's okay them to do that. that I want to say here. But you also should understand how big is the value of the learning you can get from it. Like, because if you get like a small value of learning, just like yes and no, you should not spend a lot of your efforts to do this learning. And that's it. It's either something very important and you spend a lot of resources on it, either something like less important, but you limiting amount of resources you're spending on it. I don't say don't do it, because you need to learn. And you need to understand what should do. For example, like a lot of people came here like today, like first time, and it was obviously risk for them to waste their time, yeah? But before, for example, coming the like second time and like invest yourself in the tech community, you should understand how does it benefit you. If like you like communicating with people, you like the community, you get some like nice knowledge you haven't like sought on a daily basis. It's kind of completely fine to came here, test it in 1-2 hours and understand like do I belong there? Do I belong here? Does it like bring me some value? Like do I like it or not? And that's it. You like wasted your time, 2 hours of your lifetime, like just to get here and like you understand. Yeah, okay. Technical conversations nice to me, or like okay, no, it's something complicated. I need to learn something first. And like I need to come like when I learn something from IT. Or for example, just I like to communicate with this kind of people. They bring me opportunities. That's why I like the tech talks. This like real life example. Yeah, and a lot of people will start arguing about that. Like when you work in a team, a lot of people have a different opinion what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and kind of how we can like mix everything. If you have like you have a work in a Scrum, you have a sprint. If you work in Kanban, you have just tickets and prioritization. You are trying like to approach those tickets, prioritize them, and like what should we do next? And somebody says, okay, this is the top thing we need to do like this week. And another guy said, no, we shouldn't do that. We have like another more important items. We should address it like later. And there is a clash like in a team. And to resolve this clash, you somehow need to prioritize. And kind of you can do very different prioritization. For example, like 3 approaches here. First one is ICE. It's impact multiplied by confidence divided by the efforts. You score your items by score, for example, from like 1 to 10. You do the math. You're trying to understand like which you should do first. Saying 2-on-2 matrix impact and efforts. You're doing like a chart, and you are like trying to add some stickers there. Like for example, this task is low effort. It will bring us like a lot of impact. It will go to the very right quadrant, and it's obviously like if it's low work and big impact, you should prioritize this, and all the team will understand this. For some people in the team, obviously numbers will work better because they can just see the numbers and yeah, it's like true math. We do that like I don't like your charts because it's like too subjective, like but with the numbers it's a math. Especially when you do like in a Scrum, there is thing which is called poker planning. If everyone has a consensus about some estimate, it's plus minus true, like because in poker planning when you do the Scrum, like everyone in the team they gather and say like okay, it's a 2 story points or 3 story points or 5 story points, and then why it's 5 story points, John? It's 5 story points because, for example, there is a tech debt in this feature in the subflow, and there is no unit test for that. Like, and when we will change it, it obviously break everything, and everybody will be aware of that, and they will, yeah, okay, looks like a 5, like And then, as I said, everybody has consensus. You have the numbers. You do the prioritization on the numbers. The last one, unlocking. It's like, is this thing enable us doing something? For example, like this could be some infrastructure work which is very ugly. Nobody understands this, especially like if there are a lot of like non-technical people in the team. If you are trying like to communicate with like some product owners, some upper management, why we actually bother to doing that? You should like clearly say that this thing is unblocking like us now, or this thing is unblocking like parallel team now, or this thing will unblock us in future, and something like that. If something is blocking someone, it obviously should be prioritized very highly, and this is like it is always a flag to prioritize something. If something is blocked by someone, you should unblock it. Because, for example, there is a second team of 10 people, and they cannot do anything without unlocking. And they will just, like, the time, they will still receive the salary, like, you know, for example, 1 week or 2 weeks, and you wasted like hundreds of pounds, hundred thousands of pounds, obviously, for nothing. And like, yeah, and that's it. And then, like, people will start asking questions like, why it's blocked? Who was the person who deprioritized this? And like, you said, yeah, okay, it's not bringing user value. But yeah, it's not bringing user value, but it's bringing value for the like parallel team, which is currently blocking, cannot do anything, like, you know. So yes, you should, sometimes you should choose infrastructure. Sometimes you should like choose some enablement work, some refactoring. But as I said, it should be like smart applied. And when you approach things, you should also ask yourself, are you building something or are you validating something? I already like talked about this like a little bit, and like doing real user feature covered with a lot of quality gates like unit test, integration test, UI test, end-to-end test. Everything is tested. Everything like is, you know, you even have like a checklist for the manual testing. You spend like ton of the time for it. But just, for example, to validate other users will use it. It's obviously super stupid approach because you wasted a lot of effort. By doing something, you can just do the user interview. For example, get some group of the people which are using your product, sitting online or even offline, and ask them, show them, for example, you know, Figma prototype which designer made like in 2 hours, yeah, you know, or like some ChatGPT prototype or like Lovable prototype you did in 2 hours, vibe coded it, yeah, you know, like in 2 hours you can just like click the buttons. It's like, it's not doing real work, it's just like showing how the screens are changing, numbers are like editing, and just like, wow. And the user is like sitting and say, yes, I really have this pain, for example, I really need to like automate, I don't know, my spending, or like how my salary is distributed like from my account when I get the salary and stuff, like to different pockets and blah blah blah. I will do a lot of fintech domain, like, because I work in fintech, sorry about that. But yeah, you could try to think about your domain as well. So are we building something like I really know like that this functionality will be heavily used by the users, or we just like a blind kittens, we're trying to understand, we just build it, yeah, because we can build it, yeah, we can cover it with the quality gaze, but in the end nobody will use it. If like you do not understand where you're going, you don't need like to build it in a good way. You just need to do a prototype. Did the prototype, forget about that. For example, you did the prototype and it's not successful. You shown this like nice vibe-coded product you did in 2 hours, and you just say, no, it's completely irrelevant. Yeah, I don't care. I won't use it. Nobody cares. And you spent only 2 hours, not like 1 month of the teamwork, which, as I say, it will cost you like hundreds of thousands of pounds. But you spend, for example, like only 2 hours. Yeah, it's like, I think 100% of savings. Sorry, 100x of savings. Yeah, and you should understand this like minimal viable product spectrum. So what kind you do like of the MVP? Is it like a throwaway spike? You just like test something and throw it, for example. Even if it's successful one, it's not the end product. Like, you know, it vibe coded in 2 hours. You still need like 1 month to develop it like really end to end. But yeah, okay, you know that you have the spike, the idea is good, the user experience is good, users will love it, and you sit in and say, yes, okay, we will build it. And then you go like building it also, stage by stage, as I said. Like it can be some like spike could be some code idea. It's not sometimes like a product. If we're talking about the prototype is something you can show, you can touch. It's like Figma prototype, Lovable prototype, I don't know, some like whatever vibe coded thing you can do. Anything which you can show, which can kind of show fake results, but be interactive enough so people understand the general concept. Yeah? And after that, you also do the beta. and beta you are shipping to selected users. For example, before doing like the final release, a lot of the game devs doing the beta testing, because like yes, game can be developed and it can be polished as well, it can be tested internally, but until you will have like beta testers from the like a lot of people with different angles on the problem, reviewing your product and testing it, approach it from different perspectives. Like for example, in the games there are a lot of like type of the players. There are like players who are like love I don't know, stealth game, when you like sit and crunch and you try and like you do to be very silent, like, you know. There are some people who just like front fighting, I don't know. There are some people who just like gathering resources and stuff. Different people group, different personas. It's all very subjective, but their view of your product will be very different, and the interaction with your product also will be very different. And that's why you need a beta, like in most cases, because no development process is ideal. And there could be a bugs in end user experience always. And when you do beta, it's giving you a safeguard against that. Like, you know, because like if you have this beta, only limited amount of users will face the bug, then you fix it, and then you, for example, you have like a massive user base, like for example 100 million of users. You do the beta for the 1,000 of users from the different countries. They are trying, they are searching and like doing stuff. They reported some bugs to you, you fix them. Then you're allowed to the bigger audience. You have like also, you have less bugs, but you have still some. But yeah, okay, it's fine enough. You fix them as well. But then you're allowed to 100 millions and your product is solid. Like in most cases, you will have only like some minor stuff. I don't know, like everything will be working, or at least everything from the like most of the user flow will be working fine. We should speed up a bit, I would say. So yeah, as I said, build, test, and scrap. Don't think about it like the prototype you throw away teaches you what to build, what to not build. For example, spending 3 hours testing 3 approaches, scrapping all the codes, and building the right solution in 2 hours is fine. Just like not like do the end implementation from the beginning. And what you should also seek as a waste, there is a term which called there is like term which called lean. I'm not sure how many of you like know something about like lean methodology. There is also a thing which is called like Toyota production system. Toyota production system was invented, I think, like in the 70s, 60s, maybe in the 80s, somewhere there. So it was like more than 50 years ago. And in Toyota, they do like understood that in their car manufacturing, they are like losing a lot of money actually on the stuff. So for example, they could have like a very big warehouse of the cars. For example, they can have like thousands of the cars in this warehouse. So they need to pay the lease for the warehouse. They have these cars which needs to be cleaned time after time in this warehouse. They need to have like the support specialists for this warehouse. But they understand that like users just not buy so much. Why you should store so much cars if users not buying them? Typical in the IT, you have cloud infrastructure, you pay for this, for example, you know, like you do Black Friday once per year, but you pay for it like all year. It's so stupid. You don't need this like amount of computational capacity. Like if, for example, your default load is 10 times less than your Black Friday load, you shouldn't have like paying for it for the whole year. That's why cloud is good, because in cloud you can say and go, okay, give me more computational capacity, and they say, yeah, okay, just for the Black Friday, bro, I will increase it. But like in other time you will kinda spend for it less. But it was not the case when we had a lot of bare bones services, like, you know, server rooms. Every company owned the server room with a lot of the services, servers, and they had all these servers like sitting there, only working really like 1 day per year. Like, you know, that's why a lot of people moved to cloud. This is like the rationality behind it. And so you should understand the waste in your everyday work, and you should try to eliminate this. So the half-done work is a waste. You did it, but it's not complete. You cannot release it. It's a waste. You relearning something which can be already known. You don't have documentation. You have like a complicated project, product, part, feature, whatever. You don't have documentation for it, or like it's obsolete. and you will need to have like, for example, if you have AI integration, you can go to AI and ask, okay, how is it working? Claude, say me how this flow is working. But you will spend the tokens for it. If you will have a doc which like has only like one thesis, like this thing is working like that because like there is some constraints, blah blah blah, and that's it. You just read it and that's it. Even from the Claude perspective, it's much easier because Claude finds the docs, reads 2 sentences, and that's it. It don't need to read like whole files to understand how it's working. And if there are like a lot of files and a lot of repositories, it will consume a lot of tokens. If you're waiting for something, this is also waste. The good example is the 2 teams are waiting for each other, someone is blocked, or like even 2 engineers are waiting for each other, someone is blocked. For example, if you're waiting for designer before starting work and you don't have other work to do, it's a waste. Any defects is a waste as well. So if you do like your product good, it just works. Like, you know, you don't need to spend the time for the bugs fixing. I can have like another whole like couple of hours how you should tackle these defects. There is a thing which is called a testing pyramid, and you should learn about it, how to like tackle with what is the cost of bugs, how much test you should apply to your code, and etc. etc. Everything which is over engineered but not used is also like a waste, because you spent an effort to do something, okay, let's do this extendable and kind of stuff, but nobody uses it. You just spent your time for nothing. Context switching. If you have like 3 parallel tasks you're working on and you need to switch between those tasks, it could be like complicated, and it's also it's created both cognitive load and the waste because of this cognitive load. You are like you are getting tired faster. You are not because sometimes context could be completely opposite, like different repositories, different technologies. For example, one engineer is working for the front end and back end. Completely different like technologies, completely different context, completely different patterns, and person who is switching like it's good he's T-shaped, like, you know, you have a guy who can replace both backend and mobile engineer, but when the guy does the same thing simultaneously, it's increasing his mental load, it decreasing his output as well. For example, you can say, okay, let's do only 1 week of consecutive backend work, 1 week of consecutive mobile work, or like front-end work, whatever. So you should have like a chunk of the time you're working on something like without making like to switch the context so fast. And handoffs. Very typical as well. In a lot of companies, there was like team A, then it's team B. We changed ownership. Something was owned by team A, now it's owned by team B. In team B, nobody doesn't care about this feature. Nobody knows how it's working because they were not building it. In the software engineering in general, when the people are leaving the workplace, if there is no documentation, context is lost. He was the original implementer. He doesn't know why, and people doesn't know why it was implemented in this way. What was the assumptions? Are assumption valid? And all the stuff. So whatever you do handoffs, it's kind of waste. So you should identify these types of waste and try to eliminate them from your work. You should also learn about lean waste and Toyota production system if you want to read more about that. Another one also like about the context switching and stuff, finish before starting. The hidden cost of the work in progress, so you have 5 tasks, you have the context switching, nothing ships, because look, you are switching between the contexts. Team blocked, there is like a queue of the code reviews, nobody is doing because they're switching between the tasks and stuff. But if you do limited work in progress, for example, only 2 tasks allowed to be in progress, you cannot work on the 3 or 5 items. It means that you will ship them earlier. So for example, it's very, like on the individual level, it's not so thin, but when we talk about teams, it's very typical because, for example, when you develop feature in a team, it doesn't take 1 hour. Yeah, it doesn't take 2 hours. It typically takes like at least like 4 weeks, and from 4 weeks it could be like half a year. Yeah, and okay, let's do these 13 features every one of which will take like half of year. It will take us like how many, I don't know, 6 years to complete. Yeah, we don't do that. Focus on something and do it like end to end. You have like one team, one feature, just deliver it. Deliver it and forgot about that. Then you will have typically feedback from the customers. They say, okay, feature is good or no, feature is bad. This is also very important for like most of you in everyday job, like in your life as well. If you're doing something like manually automated, please automate it. If you do something 3 times, it means that you should automate it. If you understand that you are doing something like a lot of times, you should automate it. Almost everything can be automated. Especially with current like technology level with LLMs, it can be even like more intelligent automation than it was to be, because like before it was hard to understand the the cycle, how we should automate this, how to describe it with a natural language, like and kind of stuff. With LLMs, you just say, okay, if this is A, do B. If this is C, do C. There is currently a fun story about this cloud bot. I'm not sure, have you heard about that? Like a lot of people are installing this cloud bot so it could like do some things while they are sleeping. This is like similar. If you can delegate something to LLMs to AI, delegate it, but verify. I will talk about this later. So if you have a development checklist, like you need to manually check, check, just do a script. If you have manual testing and every time you release the product you need to do manual testing, just automate it. If you have a copy-paste setup, you just need Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V on all these machines and stuff, just do a template, just do a script. There is like this slide actually brings to the software engineering the big part of people who are currently working it. They are called DevOps. So DevOps started like from the automation of deployment, building, and scaling. So DevOps are obviously enabling the automated scale, and as you say, cloud. And when you kind of have these spikes of performance, you can just take more servers, deploy there fastly, and you will have like nice load balanced stuff. But kind of, as I said, if there is no automation, what you will do? You will ask Amazon, okay, Amazon, give me three more services. What you will do? Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, there like deploy scripts or like for your services. It will take like another 3-4 hours. Not automated. Also connected to what I said before, make the knowledge explicit. Like document as you go. Do pair programming as well. So if you do something like in your team, try to share as much of context with your peers. For example, if there is like 2 iOS developers, they should understand each other works. They shouldn't be like a bottleneck of the work. So for example, only your colleague can do like work X because he understands it. No, it shouldn't be like this. Everybody should understand what is happening. Yes, obviously there is limitations, like front-end guys cannot do back-end and stuff, or back-end guys cannot do front-end, but you can still, like if there is like 2 back-end engineers, they should like understand the work of each other and stuff. It's for the pair programming, for the documents. Still, if there is like a confluence somewhere, like which is writing something, even if it's obsolete, it's better than nothing. It's like on the one hand side. On the other hand side, if you want to be developer who is like have a job security for the next 10 years, have no documentation, have no peers trying to understand what you're working on, try to bring as much of context to yourself, so like company cannot fire you because like you owning everything, but on the other hand, the engineering manager, product owner with enough experience will understand this kind of people, and they will discourage them to do that. They will force them to do documentation. They will force them like to knowledge sharing. So like in the end, like you will still fail trying like to do the job security, but you will just get the karma points from other engineers. They will start to think that you are toxic, bad, I don't know, and kind of stuff. Just be a nice person. If you do some like heavy stuff and nobody understands it, like try to like describe in simple words. Do the documentation. Try to make your fast feedback loops as soon as possible, so shorter cycle, less waste. So for example, instead of doing one really huge release, break it to the 4 parts. For example, do some like core part, then increment 1, increment 2, increment 3. For example, you did the core part, you understand that you expected that like 40% of your users will use it, but it's used by the 20% of the users. Yeah, and like there is no need to like do the increments on the feature which is not used. You just like, okay, you say, okay, it's used by the 20%, then it means it's not so important for us. We will do the function, like we can do the increment for them, but we will do it like later, if we will have like a time and capacity to do that. Like applicable for everything. For example, you are starting to work like in a new company. You have a manager and you doesn't understand what is his goals, his priorities, and you're just like, oh, I just want to get a rapport with you, bro. Just to get like a nice feedback, to get the salary promoted, and like so I could grow in the company and stuff. Just ask your the first very simple stuff, you can ask your manager what is his goals and how you can contribute to his goals. Yeah? If you have this understanding, you are shortening your feedback cycle, like you are doing like the thing he said you to do, like, you know, because you can try do something, yeah, and then like in 1 quarter your manager said, okay, bro, you failed probation. I haven't expected this for you. I expected like thing B, thing C, thing D, whatever. Companies are not ideal places. Obviously, there should be a procedure for that. There should be like not only person like trying to force person to do something, like, you know, but it's a people-to-people work. Yeah, you know, we should communicate first and trying to do things like after that. Like, you know, if there is a clear expectations of how you will work and how should like component should work and stuff, it will be very easy for you to meet these expectations because you know them. Like when you know the goal, it's like 70% of the success because like anything else is just implementation. Yeah, using AI strategically. Obviously, currently we are in the era of AI, LLMs and stuff. LLMs are not ideal architecture. It will evolve further, obviously, but it's currently here. It's the good level of technology. You can use it in your everyday work and everyday life, I would even say. But it has its strong sides, it has its weak sides. And what you should do, you should leverage the strong sides of LLMs. You should not try to have the general artificial intelligence, like think that like it's another person, like the same smart as you, like, you know. No, it's not like that. You should, as I said, if AI is good for writing test cases, some of them you can easily verify, do it with AI. If AI can make a documentation from the big feature to the small one, for the summary, for example, do it with AI. If AI can do initial research, market research, because he can browse data automatically, most of the tools currently can browse automatically, and you can do a research on the stuff with the sources, with the links and stuff. Just do initial research through AI. You don't need to Google for things because AI can Google and summarize for you. For example, just say me do the research by the 10 books published in this year, and for example, what was the most used plot during this time. For example, if you want to do book writing, or for example you want to do some mobile game, and you're trying to understand, okay, what kind of a mobile game I should do? Should it be iOS? Should it be Android? Should it be both? Or should I do web game? Because it's similar effort. Yeah, mobile game, web game. It's not we are doing some heavily computational, and AI will answer you that web games are mostly dead. There is mostly no market, and you should do mobile game because there is a huge market for mobile gaming, and there is obviously research about that, and it's all online. Yeah, try to evade AI anti-patterns. So don't ship what you don't understand. Obviously, if you vibe coding is not working, guys, you should review it first. In most cases, you should review and understand it. That's why, for example, you shouldn't be purely vibe coding, because AI is not at the level, then it can deliver end to end. Don't skip thinking. If you delegate everything to AI, it will be a bad result because AI can hallucinate you something, and that's it. Yeah, and you will be ending, for example, buying the product which is like AI hallucinated you as good one. Yeah, like, you know, validate everything. Yeah, blindly accepting AI refactors that break edge cases. This is like a nice example. You did refactor, it was fast, but like 80% of your users like why it's not working. Or for example, okay, 80% is like too good. Yeah, even 20% of your users who are facing the edge cases, it's a huge user base. You will be losing. Identify your personal waste. Yeah, attending meeting where you are silent. Perfectionism on low impact work. It's like I see this in the career development. Yeah, I know that I'm out of time. I see this in the career development a lot. People just doing things because they like want to do things, like, you know. But if it's not getting the visibility you need, for example, you want to be promoted to middle to senior, you should show some like showcase to your managers that you are capable senior. You should like ask him, what should I do? Like, so you think I am capable like senior? And you should focus on this one, kind of. Yeah, rewriting things which are working fine as well, like experimenting on some tool without goal as well. You are trying AI, but you don't know what you want to do with AI. Just try it. Yeah, okay, you try it. Yeah, okay, it delivered you some result. Can you validate them? Is it hallucinations or yeah? You should understand. Can I apply LLMs in this area, or can I do something with LLMs? Can it enable me to do something and stuff like that? So yeah, Monday morning checklist. Think before building, automate repetition, finish before starting, validate cheaply, not like expensively, pay on the hard problems, do AI for the like grunt work if it's good for it, but if it's not good, not use AI for the grunt work. Yeah, obviously. The compound effect, when you do like a small improvement, for example, you know your like North Star, you know your end goal. Even if you do the small like improve, for example, we want to write a book. Even if you write like a couple of sentences today, you did an increment. Like, you know, tomorrow it will be like one chapter. Like in 3 weeks it will be half of the book. In the like 6 months it will be complete book rewritten like 3 times. Like, you know, because it's increment. So eliminating waste today makes tomorrow faster. If you automate something today, it will be nice tomorrow because you just run script and enjoy your free time. Yeah, so for example, like team eliminated 40% of the backlog because it's not MVP. It's deprioritized. Shipped the core feature 2 sprints early. Learned the riskier assumptions was wrong before building. Yeah. So you do subtraction, validation, and waste elimination. And by this, like, you are reaching your end goal, actually. Yeah, and key takeaways for today. Think first. Very important, think first. Like, in everyday job, it's applicable to everything. Think first. What do you want? As I said, ChatGPT won't bring you money even if you type the prompt, give me money. Yeah, subtract everything things which are not benefiting you, you should like remove them. Finish before starting, automate 3+, build, test, scrap. Yeah, and thank you everyone. This is it from my side. This is a promotional slide, so you can follow the TechTalks in Edinburgh in Instagram, LinkedIn, in the speaker form. If you want to be a speaker, scan this QR code. Otherwise, scan other QR codes. Please scan, subscribe, yeah, attend. I hope this was like productive and impactful enough. So even if you spent your like 2 hours today and you said, yeah, okay, this good, I will attend next Tech Talk because I love the people. I know the knowledge I got today. For example, I focused on something and stuff like that. Everyone scanned, yes? Yeah, I'm just looking back. I have one more slide, but I still can show it and then came back.